Work-life balance. I'm reminded by a quote from Nigel Marsh in a TED talk he gave 10 or 15 years ago, in which he said, "The problem is that certain career choices are fundamentally incompatible with being meaningfully engaged with a young family." I think this is spot on, but rarely talked about. I mean, if you just think about, a bunch of different jobs that would be really difficult to do while spending time with your kids, it's a pretty long list. Like anything involving the military, certain types of doctors or surgeons that, if you're doing a 10-hour operation, you can't exactly leave early to go and pick up your kid from their basketball practice. So many jobs are like this, Investment banking, being a lawyer, pilot, take your pick. It seems like actually a lot of the careers that people aspire to do, if you were to survey university students about what they want to do, so many of these jobs are not compatible with having a family or having any interests outside of work. Maybe this even explains why birth rates are collapsing around the world. I think in South Korea, that's the sort of poster child of this phenomenon. I think 100 South Koreans today will have 4 great-grandchildren because the birth rate is so low, more than halves in each successive generation. Are career demands part of that problem? I think they probably are. Not only are these jobs incredibly time-consuming, but they take many years to train for as well. If you want to be a surgeon, you're probably studying for 10 years. You probably have to do some sort of undergraduate science degree and then medicine, and then I assume work at a hospital for a while and do some kind of specialization and training. You're going to be 30 before you can even really start your career. It's no wonder that people have a hard time starting a family, or if they do start a family, they have a hard time actually spending time with their kids. I read a statistic that by the time your child is 12 years old, you've already spent 75% of the total time that you will ever spend with them. So that's pretty terrifying. My oldest boy is 11, so the idea that there are more shared hours with him in the past than in the future is pretty terrifying. Another quote that I kind of like is that in 20 years from now, the only people who will remember you working overtime are your children. So what do we do with this terrifying information? We can't not work, at least most of us can't. We have to pay for our living expenses. Housing is incredibly expensive in most Western countries. Education for our children is expensive. Ironically, we have to work hard for them so that they can get an education. But then by working hard, we don't get to see them as much. It seems kind of cruel, a cruel irony. I don't have the solution to this problem other than finding a way to get spectacularly wealthy. Although I'm sure even then we'd find some other problems. But I suppose one antidote is to be grateful for the small moments we do have and not to let them rush past us. I don't know, even just taking the chance to drop them to school and taking the extra 2 minutes to walk in with them rather than just turning around and driving away. If you can take like a day off work to volunteer to go on your child's trip to the zoo excursion. I've done that a couple of times and I certainly don't regret it. You'll never regret the things that you do like that, but you might regret never doing it. I think Nigel Marsh, who I quoted from at the start of this video, came to a similar conclusion, that small things matter. He talks about a day that he took off and picked his kid up, and the kid, they had a pizza together at a cafe, and the boy told him that night, "Dad, today was the best day of my life." I can totally relate to that story. I mean, I've had similar moments like that where something to us that might seem relatively mundane, like going to get a hot chocolate at a cafe, to them, that's the kind of tapestry of their whole early life experience. It's so precious. So I suppose if there's one thing I can take from pondering these pessimistic stats, it's that all those little mundane things are probably more important than we realize.